Welcome back, all you automotive enthusiasts or just people that like to sit on their couch and watch some fool try and make a YouTube video like myself. But anyway, last video we went and did a walkthrough over this basket case that I picked up, and I'm going to try and get a carburetor on it and hopefully hear this thing run. I'm anxious to hear it go because I don't know anything about this motor. I didn't even drain the oil out of it. I'll have to do that before I fire it up, but I don't know if it's full of water. No clue, but we're gonna find out. I'm gonna go ahead and throw an old Quadrajet on it because I don't want to spend the money on an aluminum intake or one of those fancy adapters. So I have that. We're gonna use it. Like everything else I do, this is going to be low budget, but at the end of the day when it's all done, we'll have something that kind of be proud of and looks decent. So let's get to it. Should have got an aluminum one. Good Lord. Spaghetti mess. Well, start getting her apart. Hang on to that. I'm gonna need that. Oh look, can even reuse the gasket. Hey, what do you got? What do you got? Not gonna need all these vacuum hoses. Only a couple. Truck doesn't even have power brakes. Alright, I will make a plug for the back of the carburetor. Just be easier to do it now before I put it on. Got an old bolt. Stick it in a piece of hose. Don't want to use a new bolt. Use an old one. Jam that in there. Tighten up our hose clamp. Put it on the carburetor. Alright, so carburetor's on. I'm probably going to run a cable choke. I'll just get a little cable kit. We'll run a cable because I'm guessing, no mechanic here, but I'm guessing it pulled vacuum down into there and right here. Just looped through there, and must be some type of a thermal spring or something in there that once that heats up or whatever, it opens the choke. That's my guess. I really don't know. So we're not going to use that. I'm just going to run a cable. So this is the box I got for the truck. The box itself is in really nice shape. Usually these are all banged out and tailgate's a little rough, but it'll work. But both sides of this really nice. I do need the floor supports, especially the rear one. Can use some square tubing for the center. They do reproduce all this stuff. Definitely won't be putting a wood bed back in it because those are pretty pricey. Probably do a piece of plywood and a horse stall mat or something like that. But anyway, I came down here. We're gonna grab those headers, see if those will fit. But yeah, nice box overall. So down here in the storage room, parts room, whatever you want to call it, but got two new inner fenders, radiator support. This is the hood. Seat's been recovered. It's in pretty good shape, no holes, just needs a good cleaning job. There's the front bumper, the directionals are in it. Yeah, another square body door. But those are the headers that I'm thinking of using. So I'm gonna try and make my way over there and grab those. But yeah, don't pay any attention to this. I'm gonna get back on that at some point. Little update on the 55 Chevy car headers. Up here, everything seems to fit pretty good. Might want to dimple that a little bit, where it's a little close to the frame there. I don't even have a gasket in here yet, so. But anyway, that's not the problem. Problem is they hang way too low and they run right in the center of the transmission cross member. We could probably make something work, but they just hang too low. It's a two-wheel drive truck and the front end sits pretty low, so I don't want to be dragging them all over the place. So I'm not even going to bother putting the other side on. Those will just come off and maybe we can use them on the Firebird. I don't know, but maybe I'll find a set of truck manifolds or get some shorty headers or the block huggers. Something. We'll come up with something, but that's too bad. I was hoping we were going to be able to use those. So we're almost ready to fire this thing up. I got to bolt down these valve covers. Got some gaskets over there. Got to change the oil. Got a new filter and some oil. This stuff's just kind of thrown on there so I'm just trying to get this thing to turn over. I did get it to turn over with the key and it started puking oil out of the oil filter. I don't know if it's got a hole in it, I don't know what's going on, but puking out of the oil filter, right out of the side of it. Anyway, got my wiring figured out. This goes to I couldn't figure out what this was till I had to go look at another truck. I guess this is for the choke. It goes to one of the oil pressure sending units. I guess these ran two. One was like something to do with the choke, and the other one here somewhere, right here. This one actually goes to the gauge. It tells you your oil pressure, and this one ran the choke. Actually, this is the other wire here, plugged in to the carburetor, but this carburetor ran a vacuum choke, and this manifold ran some type of heat transferred. I don't know what you would call it, but that spring must have moved the rod and activated the choke. I don't know, but we got a whole mess of different things going on here. Bunch of mismatched parts, but that's all right because stuff that I had, and that's what we're gonna use. So yeah, Green wire. Like I said, somebody had cut all these wires to get the cab off. These are all for the tail lights. And this section of the block coming through the bulkhead there, the firewall. Green coolant temperature sensor. Pink, or kind of indicates pink. It's supposed to be pink, but this thing's old, faded. But this goes to the fuel gauge. Yeah, we're gonna hook all that stuff up, but we won't be using this. We don't need that. Anyway, yeah, like I said, we're getting ready to fire this thing up. I got all new plugs in it, got the cylinders all cleaned out. Like I said, this wiring's just kind of thrown here. We'll neaten it all up once we get it fired up and know that it's a runner. So, yeah. This is the wire that tabs onto the coolant temperature sensor. I couldn't find one of these at any of the parts houses around here. I had to order one online. PCV valve, we'll hook that up. I got some oil, new filter, valve cover gaskets, and this is actually transmission cooler lines. It was a little kit, 20 something bucks. Gotta be good, made in China. If you guys are going to use these cheap valve covers, I recommend these longer little girdle things. I don't know what they're called, but just a support that spans out over a bigger area of the valve cover. Just kind of help it from leaking. These things are so cheap, they kind of warp when you just put a bolt there or one of the little small ones or a washer or whatever. But those seem to work pretty good with these cheap covers. Got all of our wiring connected here. Like I said, this goes to the oil pressure. This is for the choke. Got one wire that runs over to the carburetor for the actual choke. But I'm going to tuck all this behind the motor for now because we're not going to use that. So I'll go up there for now. Got our green wire hooked up. That goes to the coolant temperature sensor. So I'll run that over there. And should be just about ready to fire this thing off. All right. We'll neaten all that up at some point. Oil pressure gauge, got that hooked up. We'll run that back there. And the only wire that we got left here is this pink wire. Well, it's supposed to be pink or red, one or the other. I think it's pink. This one here. All right, And that goes to the fuel gauge. And I don't even have a fuel tank in this thing yet, so she's gonna dangle over there for now. Everything else is hooked up. Gone through and sorted all this wiring out. So all we got left is taillight stuff. But as far as getting the motor running, everything's all hooked up. So I think what we can do now is, I did rig up a battery just to see if I could get this to turn over, and it does. So I'll set this up. Maybe we'll pour a little gas in the carburetor and see if she touches off. I don't know. Temporary ground setup. If it works, it works. Plug our battery in. Okay. Use what our good friend Derek calls the Lone Wolf 2000. See if we get crankage. No crankage. Okay. There we go. All right, so I don't have the flywheel flex plate. I don't have that hooked up to the torque converter. So that's why it makes a big clunk, big ringing clunk when it starter engages. But the starter is shimmed correctly, so don't worry about that. It'll be roughly there. That in there. I gotta turn the key on. A little extra. Okay, see what happens. Runs. Okay, perfect. Well, Alright. Now that I know that it runs, I'm going to neaten everything up and kind of put this thing together. I've been waiting to put any of the sheet metal on because I figured it'd just be easier to walk around the front of this thing, do everything I need to do here before I put the radiator support and inner fenders, sheet metal, all that good stuff. So now that I know it runs, I think I'm going to go ahead and start assembling, neatening up all this stuff. Still got to heat shrink all my connectors and put another wire loom on this, kind of neaten all that stuff up. But yeah, progress. Got everything neatened up for the most part here. My wires all ran, the wiring harness all buttoned up, back in its loom. Everything's hooked up. Painted a radiator core support. Just got the zip tied radiator going on for now. I have the brackets, but they're the ones that go over the top for a taller radiator. So I got to scrounge up some of the ones that are bent 90 degrees for this shorter style radiator. Just used some zip ties, kind of made some wire looms. I did run these transmission lines, got them plumbed into the transmission, kind of snaked down along the frame here. I'm going to clamp them off to the frame. We'll go into the radiator. So they're plenty long enough. Might have to kind of do a bigger loop down there or something around the exhaust, but for now we'll get them plumbed into here, upper lower radiator hose, and we can put inner fenders and hang the fenders. But for now, this is about as far as I'm going to take it for this video. I got to move this aside, get some other things coming in here, so this will go on the back burner for a little bit. But overall we did pretty good. Got the motor fired up, everything neatened up, and now we're ready to hang some sheet metal on it. That'll be for a little bit later date. But thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.